Welcome to our video series on increasing traffic to your blog. In this video, we'll look at search engine optimization tips for your blogs. In this video, I'm going to talk you through some very easy to apply search engine optimization tips that you can use on your blogs to make them even more of a magnet for free search engine traffic. Now, one great thing, one of the most important points about getting free search engine traffic is lots of links. And the nice thing about blogs is that because of their conversational nature, in the sense that blogs are always talking about other blogs and linking to other blogs, there are a lot of links going on from one blog to another. And that will automatically, basically what I'm trying to stress is that if you have a blog that's read and has good content or perhaps even controversial content, it will be linked to. So blogs, almost by their nature, solve the linking problem of the search engine optimization puzzle. But also, what you want to do is optimize on page, because links to your site are what's called off-site optimization, off-site search optimization. But the thing is, you don't have that much control over people linking to you. You can encourage it, but you don't control it because it's not coming from your site. So you need to know that off-site optimization is not something that you ever really control, whereas on-page you can, of course, customize. You can change it as you want on your pages. And you can get a bit too in-depth with search engine optimization. Of course, as Google and the other search engines keep changing their rules, and nobody quite knows from one day to the next what those rules are, there are some broad points that if you stick to them, they'll help you greatly. And one course of action that won't cause any charges of spamming, or basically what I'm trying to say is that these search engine optimization tips are all tips that Google would approve of because they aren't too aggressive. They're not things that would get your site banned or get you labeled as a search engine spammer. They're very simple, and importantly, they even help your readers and visitors. So let me talk you through some pointers you should bear in mind when creating posts for your blog. First of all, you want to stick with one subject per post. Don't have really massive posts covering multiple subjects. You want to have one subject per post, as you can see here. Actually, this is a search engine blog, but I'm using it as an example of how to structure your posts. First of all, obviously, make your blog post title relevant. It has to be very interesting, and it should then naturally contain keywords that your visitors could well be looking for. And this is a bit off point, but it's worth mentioning. One page is going to get very little search engine traffic. But lots and lots of pages, because lots and lots of pages cover so many search terms because of the combination of words, the more pages you create, the more search engine traffic you'll get, which is a fundamental point. So you want to have lots of posts covering lots of different subjects, but all within your niche. You don't want to go too far off subject, or otherwise people will lose interest. After all, people visit your blog for a certain reason. Why do I visit this blog? Because I'm interested in search engine optimization. If you suddenly started talking about the weather or the news, that would be off subject, and it wouldn't interest me, even though it would cover a wider range of keyword subjects. So, cover lots of subjects or cover lots of points of view. What I'm trying to express is, stay within your niche. Stay within your subject matter, but cover it in detail. This will naturally involve you using lots of different keywords for your titles. So, come up with a good, interesting title, use relevant keywords, and preferably keywords that are of value, of relevance to your visitors, because then, of course, it's more likely that they'll click and more likely they'll be searching for those expressions, those terms, in the first place. Okay, once you decide on a title, where do you want to put the title text? Well, you want to definitely put it, this would be the most important place. You want to put it in your title. And of course, if we go to View, Source, the title is, of course, it goes between the title tags. So, inline linking bad for usability is the title of this blog post, and it's also entered in between the title tags. Find copy, and if I find it, let me enter the phrase here. Okay, let's find next, and okay, let's see where else he's put it. Okay, he put it in the... Let me close this and let me demonstrate exactly what I'm referring to here. He's put the title of the post in the title bar, as mentioned, between the title tags, and also, of course, at the top of the post. And importantly, if we go back to the source and search again, this, the post title, appears at the top of the post between the H1 tag, the header 1 tag, and the header 1 tag by default puts the text in a large font because it's a tag specifically for headers. It's going to be used specifically for the header of the page. And using custom or using cascading style sheets, you can, of course, change the look of it. You can change the look of your font, but that really is a huge side issue. But I should just quickly mention that if you're interested in going more in-depth into how to format your pages, I strongly recommend the resource htmldog.com, which talks you through HTML and CSS. It has a very good tutorial. And I also recommend the resource htmlref.com. This is a very good resource. Okay, so going back to the original page, he's put the post title, he's made it relevant with relevant keywords, he's put them at the top in the title, and he's put them in the header 1 tag. And just out of interest, let me do a quick search here to see how many times it appears on the page here. Okay, it appears there as well, and in the navigation line, as you can see. Okay, and then it appears at the bottom as well. So interestingly, that text doesn't actually appear anywhere in the entire post. It only appears in the main sections are again, the title bar, the header, and navigation link, or rather navigation line. So those are some of the main points for making sure your blog is search engine friendly and for getting more search engine traffic. Keep your posts on just one subject per post blog, and don't go off subject. Keep it to relevant, interesting titles with relevant, interesting keywords that you're sure your visitors would be searching for. Of course, you have to make them really interesting as well. Just as an example, and actually I've already copied this text, so let's go to Google And okay, let's quickly search for this phrase. I imagine it should be the first result. And it is. Or actually, interestingly, no, it isn't. The same blog is number 1, but it's a different post. But anyway, the point that I was trying to demonstrate here is that bear in mind your blog posts, your blog post titles. If you use the text in the title of the browser here, then it's going to be the clickable text in Google. And this is what people look at when they search Google to see what's most interesting and most relevant for them. If you have boring text here, people aren't going to click through. It's really important that your blog post title is interesting, is relevant, has relevant keywords, and if it is all of those, it's much more likely that it will appear interesting here and people will click through. So that's a very important point to remember. Okay, let's go back a couple of pages just to my initial example. And once again, the quick reference list I was trying to talk through there. Once you've decided on your blog post title, in the title bar, and at the top of the post, preferably in the header 1 tag, and you can put it in the navigation link if you want, the navigation line if you want, and as you can see, you don't have to have it in the main text, although you certainly can if you want. Have your post on topic and don't wander around different subjects. And another important point is, have good navigation through your site. Actually, a good example is here. Always have links on your page that go back to your home page and even subcategories. And the easier it is for your visitors to find their way around your site and get the information they want, then the easier it's going to be for the search engines to index your site. If the navigation on your blog is difficult to navigate and difficult to understand, people are going to have difficulty finding their way around. And also, so are the search engines. So make it easy to navigate. If you break it up into categories, as you can see here, that can be very useful too. Even have a sitemap linking to every main section of your blog, or potentially even to every single post. So those are the main points to bear in mind when search engine optimizing your blog. As you can see, it can be very simple and straightforward. And as you create your posts, as you write your blog posts, all you need to remember to do is format or organize your posts on the page this way, and the search engine optimization will happen naturally. And because this is just natural search engine optimization, it's not using any spamming tactics or any tactics that Google wouldn't approve of. So what it's doing is making things easier to find for your users and organizing your content in a way that makes things easier for Google as well. So doing this is strongly recommended. And actually, I'm just going to quickly talk through one further example. In this case, I'm going to use the example Pro Blogger. And let's say if I were to click here, Blog Design Tips and News, and let's scroll down. And this has gone to a category of the site, of the blog, where you list all categories of the site and the blogs in this category. If I keep scrolling down, and see if I can find a really good example. Okay, this should be a good example. Blog Content Form Design. It's not a particularly enticing title, but it's relevant. It has keywords that people are interested in the subject matter, keywords they'd search for. And if I click through, and okay, there's this big header at the top of every page, so let's scroll past that. And again, as you can see, okay, this is very short, but it's on topic. It stays on topic. And there's some navigation there to different areas of the site. And throughout the page, actually, are links that appear on every page that go to the most relevant areas of the site. If I scroll down, we can see more examples, as you can see here, and particularly the archives. And the archives link through to the categories into which, well, he's broken this blog down into a number of relevant categories for easier, well, it helps with organization and helps for navigation, and just to help visitors find what they're looking for. So again, this is good navigation on every page for each of the most relevant areas. If I scroll back up, and out of interest, just the final example in this case study, if I copy this blog post title, and let's go View Source, and let's see where that blog post title text appears. Okay, it definitely appears in the title text of the post, as you can see. Very important. And at the start of the title. That's also very important. And then after the colon, he has what I guess is the name of his blog, which is Pro Blogger Blog Tips. Okay, keep searching. And I went too far. Let's go back one. Okay, this is the blog post header. And again, it's using the header tag, but this time it's the header 3 tag, not the header 1 tag. And if we keep searching, let's see where else it appears. Okay, it appears at the bottom of the post. So again, most relevant. Again, these are two really good examples because all they're doing, or in most cases, they're putting together good, useful post titles with lots of relevant keywords, and of course that are very relevant to the people visiting. And they put that text in the title, at the start of the post, in the header tag, and obviously in the navigation of the page as well, or of course in the navigation of the site, because whenever they link to this post, they make the entire text clickable. Again, this helps search engines with relevancy. Rather than just having a link that said, click here, you would link through to this post, but you would have the entire title as the clickable link, because that's much more meaningful to search engines, and it's much more meaningful to visitors, rather than just a click here link. Take all your text, or most of your title text, and make all that clickable. Okay, in neither of these examples, the text didn't appear in the blog post itself, which was interesting, so they didn't overdo things in that regard at all. And they make navigation around the site easy for the visitors and easy for the search engines. So using those tips, and these are two very good examples because I know they get an awful lot of search engine traffic, just by using those tips, you can make your blog a lot more search engine friendly. And that can bring you a lot more search engine traffic. And with search engine traffic, especially with Google, because Google takes a while to, let's say, really trust a site, because Google wants relevancy. So the longer a site's been around, the more Google trusts the site, and therefore, the higher up in the results it lists it. So you may not have quick results with search engine optimization, but if you keep doing it with every single post, In the months and years to come, you'll get considerable amounts of traffic just by doing that. And people have spoken about how it's really a cumulative effect and can really compound if you keep doing it and keep doing it. Your site becomes more and more of a magnet for the search engines to the point where you can be getting hundreds, even thousands of visitors for free through the search engines just because you have good content, lots of links, lots of relevant keywords in your titles, and you've structured your pages and your site in a way that's friendly to the search engines and also to your visitors.